Ukraine, home to over 40 million people, has long been caught between East and West. Since gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, it has fought to define its own path. For decades, Ukraine tried to balance its historic ties with Russia and its aspirations to integrate with Europe. But tensions escalated in 2014 when Ukrainians demanded a new future. Mass protests erupted in Kiev's Maidan Square. The people wanted closer ties with the West, but their president, backed by Russia, refused. The revolution changed everything. That same year, Russian forces seized Crimea, a strategic peninsula on the Black Sea. In the east, separatists, supported by Moscow, declared independence in Donetsk and Luhansk, sparking an ongoing war. For 8 years, Ukraine fought Russian-backed separatists in the Donbass region. But nothing could prepare the world for what happened next. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Explosions echoed across the country as Russian troops advanced from the north, east, and south. Airstrikes hit Kiev, Kharkiv, and other major cities. Millions woke up to a nightmare: war had returned to Europe. In just weeks, over 10 million Ukrainians fled their homes, the largest refugee crisis since World War II. But Ukraine did not surrender. Its army, once underestimated, fought back fiercely. Leading the resistance was President Volodymyr Zelensky. His defiant message to the world: "I need ammunition, not a ride." Cities like Kharkiv and Mariupol became battlegrounds. Russian forces surrounded them, but Ukrainian fighters refused to give in. With Western-supplied Javelin missiles, Ukraine's defenders destroyed Russian tanks, forcing the invaders to retreat from Kiev. What was expected to be a swift Russian victory turned into a disaster. Russian convoys were ambushed, and entire units were lost. Legends emerged, like the "Ghost of Kiev," a mysterious pilot said to have shot down multiple Russian jets. Even civilians joined the fight, making homemade weapons and preparing to defend their homes street by street. The world responded. The US, Europe, and allies imposed severe economic sanctions on Russia, freezing assets and crippling its economy. The ruble collapsed. Major companies left Russia. The economic cost of war began to rise. Billions in military aid poured in. The US, NATO, and Europe sent missiles, drones, and artillery, giving Ukraine the firepower to push back. But for millions, survival meant escape. Women and children crossed borders, leaving behind fathers, brothers, and sons to fight. Across the globe, people marched in solidarity, demanding an end to the war. Modern warfare changed. Ukrainian drones became a deadly tool, destroying Russian convoys and supply lines. Russia also targeted Ukraine's symbols, including the world's largest plane, the Antonov Tu-25 Mriya. With battlefields shifting, Russia attacked Ukraine's power grid, leaving millions without electricity in freezing winter. On the front lines, trench warfare reminiscent of World War I took hold, with both sides locked in brutal, grinding battles. Then came HIMARS, long-range artillery that helped Ukraine destroy Russian command centers and ammunition depots. Despite overwhelming odds, Ukraine fought back, reclaiming key cities like Kherson. Russian forces, struggling with heavy losses, were forced to retreat from Kiev and other northern areas. The war pushed Ukraine closer to NATO, an alliance that could reshape European security forever. Peace talks have come and gone, but will diplomacy ever end the bloodshed? The cost of war is devastating. Thousands of soldiers and civilians have lost their lives. Even in Russia, citizens have protested, risking everything to speak out. Despite destruction, Ukraine remains defiant. A nation shattered, but unbroken. The war in Ukraine isn't just about one country, it's a battle for freedom, democracy, and the future of the world. Like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth history and world events.